With this painting today, we thought we'd try something different, something almost unique, taking myself, a professional artist, up against someone who's a
absolute amateur, never painted before, so this is going to be a little trial by fire.
So I thought I'd choose a subject that I thought was a good enough challenge, a good subject, something that would really resonate with us first and then hopefully the viewer. So
let's see how we go.
Okie doke. Let's just start to get a feel of these shapes. There's nothing like sort of getting off to a good start. It's a relatively simple shape to get to work when houses, sheds, barns go. She's just one of the gable roof. My old carpentry days let me down. But one great thing is it's some lovely, visually interesting, but also they read well. That's the beauty with the gable type house or building when we're painting. So that will work well for us. And it's good to get it placed well. And I think when starting a painting, it doesn't hurt to just take our time, because almost like a running race or a long distance drive, nothing like sort of getting through some stoplights and getting onto the highway and hoping there's not too much traffic, just to get that little bit of road behind us. So that's what I'm sort of getting now, some of that big shape in, the big darks, trying to get that feeling of the growth coming out of the tree. Sometimes I have a bit of a habit where I actually do use the smaller brush for a little longer than I should or would like to. And the danger with that is that I'll start poking around, trying to finish off too soon, where the beauty of the bigger brush that say I'm using now is it's not prone to being able to let me do much detail. And that's why if you do start to feel as if you are a classic overworker, try and work mostly with your big brush. I probably do 75% with the big hog hair brush, so that keeps me in good stead. It allows me to build those big shapes and spread paint over the board as well. I'm not starving the board of the right amount of paint as well. Because with this first stage, remember, I'm not trying to load the board up. It's the classic working from thin to fat. It's really the second stage. That's when I'll start to build the paint up. And I want to start to see a little bit of texture, not so much in the sky, but definitely in that background hill. I want to start to get some of those rounded shapes of trees, because we have to remember, trees aren't a one-dimensional shape. They are that three-dimensional shape. So you may actually see me when I'm doing some of the brush work, that I'm actually rolling the brush that little bit. That just helps. It's just that extra 5, sometimes 10, even probably 20% extra movement and believability I'm able to get in a particular shape, especially foliage. So now we're really blasting through with that light. I think it's a critical part of a painting is that foreground, the horizontal plane in the foreground, whether it's a boathouse and it's all concrete or dirt or whatever it might be, getting that, because that's where the big body of light is going to hit. But also we're trying to get depth as well, right up until the house or at the foothill or the front of the house, right to my feet. I did really struggle a little bit with the little bits of light where the farm vehicle had driven in and out of, because actually it would rain quite a bit the night before I found this scene. So with that did provide some interesting things anyway, but I feel as though I overcame most of them. I think now we'll hand it over to Alex.
Okay, so I'm going to start out with the big shapes as best as I can. I think often, because I've looked at Dad's work so much, that I can kind of, through osmosis, interpret a lot of what he does, because I've looked at obviously so much footage, so much history between, I'm 25 now, so it's been a large part of my life, art and understanding it. This is obviously my format. His is a little bit more physical, a little different. I'm coming in here now with a little, I forget exactly the mixture, so So you're going to have to ask Dad about that. But it's I'm going to guess a little titanium white, cobalt, ultramarine blue, and alizarin, I think, from memory. And then I've just blasted that through there, and coming in through. I think I'm just marking out the fence postings now, as a professional does, and that is some good quality paint. Like that. And I've just come in and I've signposted the second tree now on the left-hand side of frame with that. Yeah, just trying to get some of those hay bales in between those two, because a lot of it, I understand obviously with composition and format, is rule of thirds, how I haven't put the house with the tree behind it on directly in the center of frame, which you can do, but you got to be really clever about it. I've put it on that third as per the other painting, and as well the reference that I was working from. Now I'm just coming in through the actual the foreground in there, with that just blasting in some of the darker tones, and then coming back into the distance, just trying to get some of that detail in through there, with that just patterning it out through the back of there. Slowly but surely we get there. And now I've actually put in a couple of the details of this. I've kind of almost tried to, because I sort of almost like a cherry blossom sort of color, with that just mixed up. And a lot of the mixes, one or two of the mixes, or quite a few at the beginning, I'd ask Dad, is this too warm, too cold with that? But by the end of it, I actually found that I was developing a much better instinct for actually finding those, like for example, these colors through here, they're a little too vibrant, but I'm actually getting closer to what mix that I wanted, especially this yellow in through here. I was actually quite happy with the way that actually felt through that, or the tone of it, the color, or I shouldn't say color, with that value. I'll get in trouble with Dad if I say color with that. So we'll pop just some highlights through here, just to bring that, just make it really pop. I'm playing with the shed in through here as well, the signposting, and just coming to, and I have noticed this looking at a lot of Dad's work, is that it kind of feels as though the painting isn't really coming together until like the last 5-10% of the actual process. That's kind of when you actually get to see all of it come together. And I think in this case, I was actually very much happy with kind of the effort that I'd put in. And with these last few details, I finish off my painting today.
Well, that was an interesting painting. A little more of a challenge than I expected. Every time I paint, I'm always trying to sort of push things and see if I can eke out a little bit more interest, a little bit more depth, a little bit more, something that, looking for that X factor is what I'm always sort of going for. And I think in the end, I think I managed to get it, which was a huge relief. So I wonder what Alex thought about his effort.
Well, I think I'm going to retire while I'm on top. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the end just how much I was able to get in from your version to my version, actually, as to, obviously there's not quite the fine detail refined, you've had many more years on top of me, but pleasantly surprised. So I'm very happy with that one.
Absolutely, no, I thought you've done a great effort. It's always the devil's always in the detail. But thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Bye for now.
Okay, that'll work. Okay.